Welcome back to BBB Adventures and a special edition episode. Today we're going to talk about something we haven't talked about for a while, and that is our adventure vehicle. So if you've been watching BBB Adventures for a while, you know that we bought this ProMaster van, and you guys helped us name it Brewster. We bought that while we were in Idaho. We really had all the intentions of building that out at Frank's place in Idaho, but we also, after that, decided to move to Houston. We talked about that in a life update of why we were moving. So the move to Houston was a big deal and it has distracted us. Then I had to get the coupe ready to build. I've made a lot of progress getting the coupe set up. So we're now at a point in our lives where doing something about an adventure vehicle is the right time. So, but we did know that we wanted seat swivels in Brewster. We knew that we were going to spin the driver's seat around as part of the dinette. So we had done that early on in our planning process for Brewster, and we wanted to get those seat swivels in so that we could take the measurements and before we did the final design. So we actually put those seat swivels in a long time ago, probably about a year ago, or maybe a little bit more than a year ago. And we filmed all of that, and we want to share that with you. And that's what today's episode is. Let's roll today's episode. Thanks for watching. Sit down, sit down. We're gonna be on camera, sit down. Welcome back to BBB Adventures and another episode of the Builder Series at Frank's Place. We're in Frank's Place and I'm sitting in Brewster. Let me give a little bit of explanation about this video, when it was filmed, the timing of it relative to the whole build series, because it's probably appears maybe a little out of sequence. At this point, we haven't started the van build in earnest. So we don't know when in the actual build sequence we're going to publish this, but we needed to do this early. What we're doing today, is we're installing some seat swivels. And that had to happen because I actually haven't finished the detailed design. We know what the layout's going to be. We've gone over sort of that roughly when we introduced the van. But the seats, the passenger driver seats, are going to swivel and become part of the living space. Well, on the driver's side, the seat swivel's going to swivel 180 degrees, and it's going to be half of the dinette. Well, I can't really lay out in detail, and I'm talking about like down to fractions of an inch is sort of the detail, until I know exactly where that seat ends up when it's swiveled. And so I finally figured, look, the first thing you're going to have to do is install the seat swivels so you can swivel it around, take the measurements, go finish the CAD design of the layout so that you can actually start the build. So that's why we're doing the swivel installs early, so that we can actually finish the interior design of the van. Once we decided that the swivels need to be installed so we can take those measurements, that began our research project to figure out what swivels do we want to use. In that research, we found out that there's a lot of swivels on the market, and some of them very big range in price, and also a big range in quality. And there's a couple of key things that we began to think were important. First, safety. When you read through the specs of some of them, it wasn't clear how well they were built. And the reason safety is important is the seat swivel is going in between the base structure of the seat. There's this part that holds the seat up off the floor of the chassis, off the floor of the van. And there's these big attachment points that are attached to the chassis of the van for strength. And then the seat is mounted on top of that. So what you're basically doing is you're putting in a swivel in between the factory designed structure of the seat. Well, the seat belt attaches to the seat. Your body, you do not want the seat coming loose in an accident. So you want it to be as strong, if not stronger, when you've got the seat swivel installed than it was before. So safety is important. The ease of use, it's got to be easy to use and swivel around. And some of them add quite a bit of height to the whole assembly. So you don't want to get too high in the air because you can't really lower the seat, so you don't want to be, anyway, you don't want to hit your head when you get in. It can't be too high. So those are some important factors. These vans, This is a Dodge ProMaster, but the basic design of this van and its history, its lineage, its genealogy is from Europe. There's a Fiat something, I don't remember the model, but there's a Fiat van that looks just like this. It's been going around Europe for years. When Stellantis was formed and they bought Fiat, and Fiat was part of Chrysler. Anyway, they imported this van for the American market. The Ford Transit, which is another very popular platform for van builds, is a Ford European-based design. The Transit brand has been in, the Ford Transit model has been in Europe a long time. They brought that van over. And then obviously the Mercedes is a German brand, the Sprinter. So all of these vans that are people building from come from Europe. So it's just clear to us that finding a swivel supplier or a part supplier for our van build that had a relationship with these European companies, with companies that supply these European van makers, that have been supplying parts to the aftermarket stuff in Europe for a long time, finding someone that had that history was important. And that's when we found Eurocampers.com. Eurocampers is a family-owned business. They've been around since 1997. They've been supplying parts for these European vans into the aftermarket in North America for a super long time. They have a long relationship with the supply base, the right supply base for the parts that you need. Because they're a family-owned business, their business is very personal to them. So that is reflected in their customer support, their customer service. It's been very easy to communicate with those guys and begin to build this relationship that we're building with them for our build. So we've had a fantastic experience with Eurocampers.com. I would highly recommend you check them out if you're in a van build and you need some parts like seat swivels or the other things that they carry, independent of what van platform you're building. Hey, we do want to give a big shout out and thank Eurocampers.com for partnering with us on this van build, on this video, and providing these seat swivels for us. What did our research uncover other than we wanted a European-based supply chain if possible? Scopema is a brand of seat swivels that we believe are the best. They're the best because they pass all of the North American, the Canadian and the US safety standards. So when they are fully tested. You can count on the fact that if you put these in and you have an accident, you're going to be as well protected as you would if you'd not put them in. They are from France. Scopema is a French brand, so it's very closely connected to the European market. And they actually have they're the thinnest. They add the least height. I mean, remember, you're putting something in between the base and the seat, so it's going to get high. You don't want to get so high that you're bumping your head and you can't see, and you're having to lean down to get to the steering wheel. You know, you really don't want to get these seats too high. Eurocampers actually sells for the ProMaster and likely for other vans the lower assembly that is actually lowered, so that you can put their lower assembly and the Scopema seat swivel on and end up with the factory height of the seats. So if you're really concerned about the height addition, then that's something to consider. We're actually going to put the seat swivels in and figure out if that's something we want to go back and add, because I'm just not sure if the height that the Scopemas add is a problem for us or not. So we'll figure that out. We picked out the Scopema seat swivel. We found Eurocampers.com, got the parts on order. The passenger side and the driver's swivels are not the same, so you need to make sure you order the one you need. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but the Scopema is designed specifically for a particular platform. These are specifically designed for the RAM Promaster. They're not a one-size-fits-all. You order them and they show up. The first thing you notice is that the box is quite heavy. There's something substantial in there. And you get, this is either the driver or the passenger. That box over there has the other one. But you open it up, and the other thing you notice is that the good people at Eurocampers have put the Scopema box inside another box and then packaged it quite nicely. And so It's well protected in shipping, which means hopefully you don't have any shipping damage to worry about, which is nice, because they could have just shipped it in this box and, you know, who knows how it would have shown up. Some instructions are in the box. Ours had an invoice. Then there's the Scopema box. So I'm gonna take this out. And let's see what's inside here.
Is it labeled?
It's, well, it says over here, www.scopema.com. For instructions, scan me. Okay, so let's see what's in here. Well, you got these, which are risers, which I believe go here in order to keep the seat clearing the mechanism. So I believe these are risers that are required, but they're also quite substantial. I'm guessing they also contribute to the overall structure. Again, safety number one. So there's two of those. Two of these spacers. They're very thick, substantial. As is this. Look at the construction of this thing. Oh, it's very heavy, but this is super thick plate steel, and the assembly is welded together. Look at the size of these welds. So this is a very well built assembly, and you can see that it's low profile. And that's what you want. Inside here is a Tupperware thing of super fun parts. And yeah, so this is the swivel. So yeah, so now you just put that in there. Just put it in there.
Like magic.
It just goes in there. So I turned it upside down, which is actually right side up. And if you look at the top of this, you notice a couple of things. You got this sticker that proves that it passes all of those safety standards that are so important. And it tells you that this is the passenger side, and it tells you that in French, and I can read French. It's got a serial number tag. Now, the reason a serial number tag is important, and I'm guessing, I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing that the cheap ones don't have that. But if you don't have a serial number, it means you don't have the right traceability. Without traceability of this, if there's actually a defect, or in your, you discover a defect in your supply chain, or you have a recall or something like that, it's likely that there's traceability so that we could be informed, and we would be able to look at this serial number and know if we were affected. So likely never going to happen, but it's nice to see that they're serializing their product. Yeah, the other thing it says, never drive when the swivel is not bolted facing forward. So apparently, if you put one of these on the driver's side, you're not supposed to drive when you're facing the back. So keep that in mind. But it also means that your passengers shouldn't be doing that either. So both of these should always be in the forward position. This is a latch that unlocks the seat swivel. And again, you can see these big welds just for the latch, which means not only does it have to be strong left or right, but it also can't swivel in a case of an accident. So this latch has to be super beefy. I'm impressed with the quality of this thing. Now that we've unboxed the swivel and looked at it and are pleased with it, it's time to install it. So let's talk about the tools you need. You're gonna need a flat blade screwdriver. This is gonna be to access the battery. There's a cover. We'll talk about that in a second. You need an 18mm socket. That is for the bolts that hold the entire seat assembly to the frame of the truck. We got to loosen that. We'll explain why in a minute. A T20, some sort of T20 screwdriver or bit or something, because there's some side panels that we're going to need to remove to get to the wiring in the seat, and that is secured with a T20. A T40 are the bolts that hold the seat to the current assembly. So you need this to take that off, and then of course something to drive all of those. Okay, there may be What do we need here? I didn't look at these. You also need a T30 because the new hardware that comes, whoopsies, the new hardware that comes with the seat swivel is a T30. Okay. And you may need a wrench for these nuts. These are nylon inserted nuts. These are called nylocks. That really keeps them from backing out and vibrating loose. These are nice. So you probably need a wrench, a wrench or a socket. I have to go find it. I don't know what size it is. And you need a 13mm wrench for the nuts that come with the new swivel. And a light, so you can see what the heck you're doing. Okay, so those are the tools you need. Let's go ahead and get started. As you can tell, this is the driver's side. And you can tell that because of this.
The way that it is.
The way that it is. And they have this thing. This is the driver's steering wheel. Okay, but there's a panel here on the floor of Promaster. And the battery is under this panel. So you got to take this panel loose, and you do that by twisting these locking features with your screwdriver. You may be asking yourself, why do I have to disconnect the battery? Well, it's critical that you disconnect the battery because these seats have integrated side airbags. And there is a bunch of wiring that you're going to have to take loose, unplug connectors that connect the airbags to the computer, the safety computer, or engine, whatever, something, to connect to something. And you run a pretty big risk if there's power going to all the systems that you could short something out and poof, poof, an airbag would go off and ruin your seat, and it would be very expensive. So there's just no reason to risk that. So disconnecting the battery will prevent that from being a risk. So yeah, so you undo these things like I said, and then you tilt this up and sort of wiggle it out, and voila! This is the battery. This is the negative, this is the positive. This has a quick disconnect. So you push that thing and you completely disconnect the negative terminal. At this point, the car's dead. No juicy juice. So you are no longer at risk of poof. Okay. Then we got our 18mm socket. And what we're going to do is there are 4 bolts that hold this entire seat assembly to the chassis of the van. And you don't have to take those loose, or you don't have to take those completely out. You don't want to take those completely out. You want to loosen those 4 bolts enough that there can be some give and play, because these things were put in, and the seat itself, the rails of the seat attached to this structure, that whole thing ties together, and we're going to change that. In other words, the alignment, the precise alignment of the bottoms of the seats to the rails of the seat to that lower structure is what it is right here. Now we're going to put this seat swivel in there, and even though that seat swivel is super high quality, the tolerances are slightly different. So the holes are maybe not in exactly the same place. So we're going to mount this thing to the bottom of the seat, and then we're going to mount that then back to the lower structure. So you need some give and play in where that lower structure is relative to the chassis so that everything will line up. So you just want it loosened up enough that it can have a little bit of play. Otherwise you might be fighting trying to get the holes aligned. So once we get everything aligned and all of the bolts loosely tightened, then we can go back and tighten up everything. So step 1 is to take your 18mm wrench and loosen those. So they're located here. This is that lower structural assembly I was talking about. And so we're going to insert the seat swivel here
underneath, in between this lower structure and the slides for the seat. So these bolts, you need to loosen them up. There are 4 of them. And I would just loosen them a couple of turns, just a little bit. And then there are, where's my light?
Hope to see forward.
Maybe there's only 2. So in closer inspection, when I said there were 4 bolts, I probably should have said there were just 2, because there's the 2 in the front that you saw me loosen. But back here, you can see that that lower structural assembly, there's this fork, and then there's this custom piece of hardware where the 3rd and 4th bolts would be. And you can see why they do that. That way at the factory, when they install these seats, they just tuck the back of the seat into these hooks, rotate it down, and bolt those 2 bolts in the front that I've already loosened. So, yep, we're done. We're done loosening bolts. So I listened to the ones in the back. There's probably enough give here.
There were none in the back.
Well, when I say back, I mean front. So loosen the ones in the front, and so yeah, let's move on to the next step. Now you take your T20, and this is the side panel. The wiring for the airbags are under this. And if you have a power seat, these are not power seats, these are manual seats. If you have a power seat, there's probably wirings for the power seat as well. But undo these, loosen up these 4, or however many there are. Maybe there's only 3, I don't know. But you take these bolts loose. Oh, and of course, look at that. They're not the same. So the shorter one was in the bottom, taller one in the top. That's astonishing that they're not the same. So this one has the longer one for whatever reason. We just have to figure out how to get this panel loose. It is not painfully obvious how.
Oh, it's caught on this
Oh, yeah.
over the. There.
Once you get that hook inside, pop loose, then you sort of wiggle this down, and you just sort of got to wiggle this around. This is until you get this back part loose, and then, you know, then you struggle some more. So, I don't know if you saw that, but there's this hooks around a piece of steel tubing that's part of that lower assembly. So you got to pop that off. Then you got to wiggle this snap loose on the back. And then I had to stick my finger inside and push this part of this screw attachment. It's one of those expando things. So I had to push it through the hole in the steel here. So I had to reach my finger behind there and push that through. And then this is off. So this is the access panel that you wanted to remove. Also note that the longer screw, the slightly longer screw, goes into the expando thing, and that's why it's longer. The rest of these are going into something else, these other 2. So the unique screw is for the expando nut thing. Okay, set that aside. Now that we have the side panel removed, I'm looking at this wiring, and I think we're going to need to free these wires from this. I would take a picture. You probably want to take a picture of exactly what this looks like, so you can go back and recreate it. So I'm going to go ahead and take a picture of that. You certainly don't want to cut any of these wires when you're cutting off the wire tie. Aha, I found a place down here that I am far enough away from any wires. Okay. Well, you can't see the screw. So I took the screw that holds this wiring panel off. It's one more screw. And then that allowed me to get this connector off this plastic flange. And now I'm trying to figure out how you unplug this connector. It's got this purple thing, which looks like a latch to me. There you go. So this purple thing is a latch.
Oh, yeah.
So you got to get the connector
Free from the plastic.
free from the plastic doodad.
There.
So now there's just one connector left. Okay, now the seat is free from wiring. So this is the reason you disconnected the battery, because pulling those connectors out, poof, poof. Oh, yeah,
This one doesn't like the poof.
poof. Okay, wiring's disconnected. Now that we got the wires disconnected, I've slid the seat all the way forward, and I'm taking my T40 and I am going to take these. There are 4 bolts that hold this seat rail to the lower assembly, the lower structural part of the seat assembly. So I'm going to loosen all 4 of those. And then I'm going to take them loose. So you remove all 4 of these. So I got all 4 of those bolts removed. Next, you slide the seat back, and there's 2 screws just like that in the front. Now the seat is loose. Be careful. The seat is loose.
Keep going.
Okay, so you just slide the seat back. Yeah. Yeah, you slide the seat off. Slide it off. This is where the seat belt attaches. It's a structural thing for the seat belt. So you got to slide this. You got,
This thing.
yeah. So you got to slide the seat back carefully until that's disengaged.
Okay.
All right, we've started this for a while, and we've determined that it's best to mount the swivel to this base and then mount all of this to the seat assembly. We think. We don't really know. We're not really sure. I'm just gonna get these snug. I am not gonna tighten any of this until it's all assembled, and then we'll go back and tighten them all. It's nice that they put the hardware in a little thing instead of a stupid plastic bag. That way it's easier to keep track of. This is made in France. It smells like wine, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Nope, it doesn't. Look at that. Oh, Kachunka. Yeah, I'm not sure this is the best way. Because now we have to lift the seat, put the seat on here. Wouldn't it have been easier if just to set the seat assembly down here and do these bolts versus now trying to do these and hold this up and get the seat? All right, so after really looking at it and playing around with it, we really think it's best to put the swivel on the seat, then put that on the seat base. So we're gonna try to do that somehow. Try. Okay.
So you have the spacer
I got the spacer in there,
in there.
and I'm just gonna get this one started. Oh, I'm so going at a weird angle. That's not gonna work. I've got this bolt started through, and so I got through that big spacer, and then I put the nut on that side. I just got it started. So now I'm working on the back. So I've got the spacer, and I put the bolt through there. So now I got to get it through this hole in the bottom of the seat slide rail, and then I got to stick my finger in there and get the nut on it. So now if I can get a nut on there by some miracle. See, this is where I really need to scoot the seat forward. Maybe I should put the bottom front one on, and then we'll scoot the seat forward and put the back ones on. I think that makes sense. This is where I wish he had another set of arms and stuff. Oh, I gotta go forward. Or this has to go up like this. Come on now. There. Nice. Okay. Okay, now I'm gonna scoot the seat forward. Now I can get I don't know how, but now I can. I don't know why this isn't rotating. Did the seat? Oh, because the seat, look at that. This distance and that distance are the same. The seat did not slide consistently forward.
They're not the same.
I know.
You said the same.
They're
You
not
said
the
this.
same. All right. Now, oh yeah, we're cooking with gas now. So I got 4 of the 6 lined up. There. Again, I think we want to leave this stuff loose until it's all in the van, or it's back. So this is the last one. Okay, I got them all started. That's good news. Now, I think we lift up the seat, set it back on that thing. Yeah, just put the screws in. How hard can it be? I mean,
You'll be able to tighten those bolts that you put.
yeah, because when you rotate the seat, I'll have access to them. Hopefully I'm strong enough to lift this up. Yeah? Is that what you're thinking?
That's just what I'm thinking. I guess we don't need my help. Are they supposed to go through that hole?
I don't know, but we can route them later. We're gonna have to figure that out because the wires have to be in a place where we can rotate. I'm guessing that's the best place for them because that's the center rotation,
Yeah.
but we're gonna figure that out after we get the seat base all copacetic. So now I gotta rotate this thing. Where's the red thing? What happened to the red thing? Where the red thing is? There was a red thing once.
Oh, it's here. It's under the seat belt.
Oh, it's back there?
Yeah, it's under the seat belt thingy. Forward. No, down, up. You see the plastic? See this thing?
This?
It's right under.
Ah! There it is.
Sorry, you're just rotating the thing. The whole thing.
Yeah. That is unfortunate.
Apply some force.
We're able to get it rotated. We got to try to get a couple of these screws in here.
To hold it in place.
Yeah, so it stops sliding around. Let me get the front one in first. So I get this one started. So if I get one in the back started, I'll get this one started. Okay, that's that one.
Welcome back. For us, it's been a few days. For you, it's been a few seconds. But we haven't been back to the shop since we were last back in the shop. That sounds dumb.
Continue.
All right, whatever.
Because you look the same.
I don't know. I showered and washed my hair, and there's a lot of things that are different. All right, when we were here last, we had gotten this all situated, and the nuts are all installed. The hardware's all installed and loosely tightened, sort of snugged up. So now we want to just make sure. I think I'm going to snug stuff up even more, and then we're going to check the operation. And then I'm going to tighten all the hardware, and then we're going to route the cables. And so that's really what's left. I don't know why I'm shining this light in your face, but I am. So I'm going to get my wrenches, and I'm going to tighten up all of these nuts. We won't film that because you don't need to be watching me tighten my nuts. That didn't come out good. I'm just tightening nuts.
Okay, those are snugged up.
Try it out, Mary Beth. Do you feel taller?
Yeah, it is. I can tell a little bit, but it's not too tall.
Is it problematic?
Nope. I still have plenty of headspace.
For your big cowboy hat?
My 10-gallon hat. Mm-hmm.
Did you find the thing? Oh, there she goes. Can you do that while you're driving?
No.
No.
Don't do that. What happened? What's that?
It's the cables. Oh God, stop.
All right, now that I've snugged up all the bolts, let's give it a test. I've unreclined the seat. I've rotated the seat forward. I mean, what's that called? Unrecline? Straightened back? There's a word. Don't know. And now I'm going to undo the latch, and I'm going to spin it around. And the reason you got to move the seat, anti-recline the seat, is because otherwise it rubs here, which is no big deal. Then you spin the seat around, and voila. Now the seat is part of the living space.
That's so awesome.
And this you can stop it here if you're having a conversation with somebody sitting in that part of the dinette. You can move it. It only latches in the forward position, so it's a bit like a swiveling recliner. When you're sitting on it, you can just hey, oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I agree with you. No, you could just have a conversation like that. Just pivot around.
Disco says, "What the heck are you talking about, Dad?"
Okay, now we're not done, but we're happy with the results so far. So now we have to figure out how to route these cables. That's the next thing. So let's go think about that. We've figured out that the best place to route these cables is through the center of the pivot, because that as this thing rotates around, that's the place that moves the least. So it doesn't move at all. So, the center of the circle as you rotate stays the same. So if you put the cables there, hopefully you can see in the camera that they are pretty consistent. So we're going to route the cables down through the center and then back over to this panel and wire tie them up, and yeah,
Plug them back in.
plug them back in.
Where's this one go? What's this do? Why is this here? Oh, I see. Okay. This goes here. And this. Why are these both orange? Why isn't one of these? Why?
Do they plug in together?
Oh dear. Are these? Oh.
They were attached to that panel. They plug into each other.
These two? No. No.
Did you take a picture?
Yellow goes to yellow. Orange goes to orange. Phew, I figured it out.
But isn't that what I said? They
I don't
plug
know
into
what
each
you
other.
said. I don't know what you said.
I said they plug into each other.
I don't know what you said, but they just plug into each other.
One color goes into the other, the same color.
Yeah, friends.
Yeah, they plug into each other.
Friends.
Same colors plug into
They're
each
they're
other.
color friends. Okay, I'm gonna. Is there any reason not to snap these together? I can't think of any. Huh? What? Why? Oh. Okay. All right. That's such a satisfying sound. Does it go in here like this? Is that what it does? Yep, it's got a key. I mean, it can only go in that way. That's the only way it can go in. The orange was closest to this. So the orange one snaps in here. Like that. Where's the yellow one? And then the yellow one snaps into here, like that. And then I think I'm gonna just mount this thing back, and then we'll figure out how to route them, huh?
Yep.
Okay, I got them snapped back into this plastic panel, and now I'm attaching this plastic panel with this one screw back to the seat. And now I'm going to figure out what to do about all this. I think we want a little slack up here, so I think we put a zip tie up here and a zip tie here. I'm going to go get a couple zip ties, and then I think we'll just keep this simple. KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. We're almost out of zip ties. Gonna need to get some more. I've only had this for probably 20 years. In fact, I've had these zip ties for so long, the zip ties are actually starting to get brittle. So, yeah. Maybe you don't need the 1001 zip tie set that you think is gonna last the rest of your life, and then you don't use them and they get brittle and they turn yellow, and just something to think about. Maybe right. Oh, hey, where are you going? One like that. I'll obviously trim this later. I'm not going to leave it like that. And then one under here. Ah! So uncooperative. Wonder what Pappy Van Winkle's doing today. Okay, let's do that. I got that like that. Now, you watch it while I rotate around. See if you see any badness. Any bad things. That looks pretty good, huh?
Yeah, it seems to drop down and then go back up.
Yeah, because if you think about it, the distance from the center line to where these are gets shorter as you spin it around. So then it does drop down. Because see, now it's pretty short, that distance. So that's why it's got to be able to not get cut up. It's like if we put anything underneath there, like storage or whatever, we're gonna have to be careful that those cables don't get taunt.
No end.
Huh?
No end.
Taunt. Taught?
Taut.
That's what you do at school. You taught the kid. All done. Got the wires routed, zip tied. We've moved the seat. We've pivoted around. We watched the wires. Everything looks great. So now, really the sort of winding up this thing. Got to put this panel back on. And then put the battery, connect the battery back. This thing was there. What's happening? Now, where does the one special screw go? What did we decide?
That one up there, because it's got a.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's what we're not getting right. We haven't got that stuck in that hole yet. Okay. So that goes on there. This is one of those expando things. Not a fan of. I'm just not a fan. Just not a fan of these.
The palm of your hand.
It's like a rubber mallet,
Mm-hmm.
only more portable. Okay, that clearly did not go into anything. That clearly was not correct. Let me try this screw. There we go. Yep. And so then this one. Good as new. Ba ba da 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 da. Say swivel.
Swivel seat installed.
Well, we installed the driver's side. We didn't film that because you watched us install the passenger side, but it was exactly the same. So if you want to watch us install the driver's side, watch us install the passenger side and pretend it's the driver's side, and it'll be exactly the same. But we're super happy with these.
Yeah.
This is a
awesome.
game changer. It's yeah, you can see how this is opening up this area to be part of the living space when we're not driving. And this will be half the dinette. So there'll be a table here, and there'll be a bench over there, and we'll play our games, and we'll eat our food, and we'll do dinette things. We'll dinette. But these swivels are awesome. You can basically stop them at any point along their rotation, and then they lock in the forward position where you want them locked for safety when you're driving. And remember, if you're the driver, do not try to drive with your seat in this position. Your seat should always face
Sage
forward.
advice.
Sage advice. And your passenger's not supposed to be facing backwards when you drive either. Because remember, you do. You want it latched into that Kachunka lock and be safe about it. We want to thank Eurocampers.com again for partnering with us, for helping us, for providing these seat swivels. They're a great company. They're well connected to the European supply base. If you're building a van, we encourage you to look at what they have to offer for your van build, because everything they stock, everything they sell is high quality and is the right thing to fit your van. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Enjoy the ride.
Disco says like and subscribe.
What do you think, bud?